welcome to another video in this series. In the previous video, if you haven't watched before, I recommend you do, because this one is going to build upon that. Now, I recently wrote a book, Win the Money Game with an Online Business, and this is the book. It is on Amazon and you can get it, Win the Money Game with an Online Business. It's a guide, shall I say, on how you can literally start an online business through to the point of getting customers or clients, shall I say. But of course, the series or the pillars that are in this book are what I'm going to discuss in this video. In the previous video, which I still recommend you go and check it out, is I spoke about the Simply model. So SIMPLY, Simply. So the Simply family business is based on a model, and I discuss the S, which is search for information, and the I, which is identify the digital platform that you can actually show up with your business. If we haven't met before, my name is Beatrice Yakobo. I'm the founder of Simply Family Business. And in this video, I'm going to continue with those series, which is a talk about the M, mastery of the business process, and P, which is positioning yourself with your brand. Let's get started with mastery. What does mastery means? Literally, just mastering the process. When you start a business, it's a process. It is an ongoing process, and a process that you need to actually understand properly so that it will help you with the day-to-day movement or day-to-day task that you need to take to bring your ideas into fruition. What do you need to do? You need to think about the plan. Of course, in anything that you want to do in this world, if you want to succeed for that matter, you need a plan. And the plan is what will be the driving force. How would you plan, have a business plan? Of course, if you want to go for a business loan, for instance, you need a detailed plan that will show to the lenders, and by lenders, it's not just the bank. It can be your relatives who would lend you the money for for a profit. Of course, when the business thrive, it could be your friends who will lend you the money, and you need to be able to show them that what you are saying, you're not just saying it, but you have concrete plans to make sure that it actually happens, or you have concrete ideas to make sure that it actually happens. So the plan is, what is the type of business that you are going to run? Who is the one that you are going to be serving? And why do you even want to serve these people? Because again, there's so many things you could be doing with your life. Why these kind of people? You need to think through all that. And there's always a saying. I remember when I first started online, and we went for business training. I paid so much money for this, and this guy was saying that your business is not about you, and I was like, what? But who is it about then? Of course, as I grow, or as I educate myself, I then understood the point clearly, in the sense that when we think about, when we say think about the why you're starting a business, because the business is not all about you. Because what if you were not here today? Would you want the business to run or not? Of course you will. What about if you go on holiday? Would you want the business to run? Of course you would. If you go on retirement, would you want the business to run? Of course you would. If, for example, you are not well, would you want the business to run? Indeed, you would. Of course. So for that reason, the business is not about you. So the why would help you kind of understand and put these things together. In the first instance, for majority of people, when they're starting a business, you always think about, of course, the profit that you are going to make as a result of running this business. But the profit is a byproduct, because you have to be ready to give a service or to give someone value, so that they see their money as insignificant in comparison to the value that they are going to gain from you, and so they can give you the money. That is very important. I think I will repeat that again. A business that will survive and thrive means that you give somebody value, and that value is so significant or important to that person, to the extent that they devalue they don't think their money is valuable to them, because they need the solution, so they will give you the money. And until you think that through your mind, it is difficult to be in business and actually succeed, because if you are just thinking of the profit that you are going to be making, it is important to make profit, because without the profit, you are going to be tired, and also you might as well do not for profit. But even with that, you still have to run it as a business, because you still have to have the numbers coming through for your donors to see that you are doing something significant. So back to the point of profit. Your profit is important, but also do not base the things that you are going to do based on profit. Recently, again, I was listening to this guy who relocated from America to Ghana, and he said he used to work in the Wall Street. So for people who know anything about Wall Street, is where trading happens. And when you talk about trading, in fact, some people get nervous because there's so much going on with value of stocks falling and rising and all those kind of things. And these are the people who are the traders, are the people who are at the forefront and trying to predict and trying to judge and trying to sell and trying to do all that. And he said he was working like 70 to 80 hours a week, and until he decided to relocate, and now doing mega projects, like building 100 units of apartments at the point, which is significantly higher than what he did before. But what he said that really was intriguing is that the value that he's providing to people makes it not look like work, because right now he has to engineer how to raise funds, and that is very, very challenging. But not only that, he has to make sure that the project that is ongoing is also built, is being built to standard, so that he is not is built to standard, so that he is juggling bringing in the money as well as being able to ensure that this vision that he has, other people are able to put that in place in a project 100-unit apartment, which is like incredible. So, but what how he made me understand was the fact that because of the value he's bringing to the people, he said, the money just comes. He doesn't have to think about the money again, but the money comes. So same for anybody that is thinking about a business. The value first and the money will come. The value first and the money will come. So in your planning, think about the value that you will bring to people. Then indeed, we think about if you have established a business, or if you have gained a few clients, think about now registering the business. And the registration process is also in the UK. It's not difficult. You can do it by yourself. I think it costs about £15 to do. Go online, or if you can't do it, an accountant will do it for you. But also you need to think about having books that you can, or online softwares that you can input your information about the business, because every year you need to render accounts and then pay your tax for that matter. So think about, those are all the mastery process that you need to think about. Of course, when you're starting out, you can, especially if it's an information product that you're going to do or selling online, make sure the business is grounded before you can go public in registering it. And then think also about the scaling process. In terms of that, if you start selling coaching products, for example, coaching, if you want to start selling weight loss coaching, also think about the products that can actually complement this, and that is the scaling process of your business. In fact, I was listening to, I think it was an article I was reading about young Americans in young Black Americans entrepreneurs, and this young girl, she was 12 when she started how to create clips for hair. And then as she was selling to her colleagues in school, and it started to grow, she started to add combs, she started to add straighteners, and then so within that same category of a business, she is adding product, but it's not, she is not having to rebrand, for that matter. She is not having to do something completely different from what she is doing. So bear that in mind, when you are thinking the business plan and the process of mastering the business process. In terms of planning, I also want to talk about goal setting. So me and you know that if you, as human beings, if we just let ourselves be, right, that you don't you just wake up and you don't have a plan for your day. I think it's Jim Rohn who says that someone will get you into their plan. That's just how the world is. So for example, if you wake up and you have nothing to do, you haven't planned to do anything for the day, I can guarantee that you would get a phone call that perhaps will last an hour, and another one will call that will last an hour. Maybe a third person will call. Guess what? 3 good hours would have gone and you have done nothing. But the good news is that you can change that around by having a plan. And when you're having a business, for example, it means that you are not going to be going to work every day. So for example, if your business is a side hustle, of course you would then have your work, and then when you are not working, then you do the business. In either way, when you are not, you have to have a plan in place so that when you are not working, you can actually work on the business. And when you are not going to when you wake up in the morning, you know what to do from morning till maybe 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock when you stop working. That is your goal. The goal is for you to project, what do I want to see in the next month, in the next 3 months, next 6 months, in a year? What do I want to see? And you cannot see it if you don't now break it down to what you need to do on a day-to-day basis to make it happen. For business, of course, you want the business to grow, but you also want to think about your family as far as planning is concerned. Why? Because, shall I say, a holistic goals for yourself. So it's not just a family, but a holistic goal. And I heard this some time ago when I was doing financial education, the 7 P's of planning, the 7 P's of goal setting it was. So your family, your finance, your firm, your fun, fitness, friends, and faith. These are very important and unique in making you feel holistic, because just say that you are so focused on the business and you're not thinking about fun, and fun could be that you just have a walk in the evening, for example, you are going to actually feel stressed, and you are going to feel burned out very, very quickly. And when you feel like that, it is not nice, especially for for a parent who also have children to look after. And when you also don't include the family, it means that you are going to perpetually trying to build this business, and then what for then? What will be the use of it at the end of the day, that you are not having time with your family and with your children? So having the holistic goal is important. By the way, it's all in here. Again, if you haven't done so before or already, it's on Amazon. You can get your copy of Win the Money Game with an Online Business. So that's that for the business mastery process. And then the next one is P, which is a positioning. You want to create your own brand. Branding is very important. As somebody say, branding is a great buzzword for people in marketing, i.e. you brand yourself. But what I also understand is that even as a person, you need to have a brand. Like you just need to, for example, whether you consciously brand yourself or not, you are branded. So people know who you are, and people know how you show up, people know your mannerisms and all that. But when it comes to branding your business, you want to project the positive side of this to your audience. So for example, you talk about your unique proposition, how you share your story with people, and how you kind of now design your online creatives to project what you want your business to look like. Now, in terms of your unique proposition, what makes your business unique is very important. Because again, going back to the point of the S, where I talk about the making sure that you see other people are doing what you are also, or what you want to do, other people are also doing it. But of course, there should be something that will separate the two of you. For instance, I help parents who actually wants to grow their business, and the reason and perhaps bring their children along in that respect, whether your children or your cousin or your nephew, and just get them exposed to the world of making money. And it could be making money online or making money locally, but just get our children to be excited about making money. Because I believe that if we don't get them to be excited about making money, they will be making money anyway in the future, but they will know what to do with it, and they will misuse it like most adults do. Because most of us do, they'll misuse it. But if you get them to understand the concept of making money at a younger age, they value and they treasure that money. And I can tell you in another video some examples that I have seen. So back to that point of your positioning. So this is how I position myself in the marketplace. What would be the thing that you can think about that will make you unique? The other thing is your story. So for example, everyone has a story. I remember when I was learning public speaking, I'll go there, and then the teacher will talk about your stories, and then talk about story, and he will say everyone has a story. But the first day, I thought I didn't have a story. I was like, where do I even start? Or the other thing that can happen is that you kind of feel overwhelmed about, okay, how would this happen, that happened, how would they kind of support me in terms of getting this vision out, in terms of getting this business to ground, and get people to buy into the vision. You need to learn that. You need to be able to learn that because it's very important. And the unique, the thing that would really, really make your business unique is your story. And even if you are selling soap, and literally, I'm not even joking about that, soap, you need to have a story. You know why? This lady called, I've forgotten her name. Sorry, forgotten her name. It will come to me. Her cosmetic brand is called Believe It. So if you Google Believe It Cosmetics, you will find her. She sold her brand for $1 billion not long ago. And she was sharing when she started making the soap in her basement, in her room, and all that. You know, she had to make it a story for people to buy into because she was trying to solve her own skin problem. And even though when it came to modeling, people wanted, you know, slimmer models and people with perfect skin to model, she said no. So because this story was so grounded, guess what? People started believing it. And of course, that cosmetics, you know, is now all over. I don't know if it's in the UK. I haven't looked for it in the UK, but of course in America, it is. Then the other soap story was another one that Russell Brunson shared, where this lady, she even created a webinar, 5 minutes webinar about soap. So you see, anything at all you sell, it could be earrings, it could be ring, it could be beads. You can have a story about it. How did you come to be selling that? What made you sell it? What was it satisfying? How satisfying was it to start? All that, you know, people want to journey with you. In fact, one of the stories that I have heard of, shall I say, dozens of times. I mean, dozens is an understatement. So many times. But yes, anytime she is sharing her story, I cannot stop listening. It's Patrice Washington's story. You know, it's amazing how she, by the age of 15, by 19, she had her mortgage and brokerage license, became a millionaire in her early 20s, lost everything, lost a baby, was about to lose a second baby. And the way she will craft it, it's just nice to hear. You know, first time you hear it, it's so heavy in your heart, like how did she even survive? But then as she says, she shares it, she makes sure that she draws you in. So being your ability to learn that will just position you as a unique person in your industry. Then of course we want to think about your brand colors. So brand colors, brand font is all important. How you speak to people, the message that you actually want the people to understand. So for example, Patrice will say that, you know, the message that she's trying to get people to understand, even though she started as a money expert, she wants people to understand that yes, you can have the money, but you might be unfulfilled. And the reason why people overspend is because they have unfulfilled needs. And if you get your life together, which she talks about in her pillars, you would be able to become financially successful or wealth. So her podcast is Redefining Wealth podcast. So you become wealthy with or without money. And that is a powerful message. So in terms of that, you need to come up with your story. And even though she speaks like it's, you know, becoming wealthy is not about credit reports and budgets, cutting coupons, there are also other people in the financial industry who have stories, who will talk about actually budgeting, actually making sure that you are saving, you are making sure that you're not overspending, and they have their story and that work as well. So being able to actually get to that is very, very important as far as making your business work. is concerned. Then yes, then the colors is important. Your font, your color theme, because every color is different and has its meaning. So this, I mean, I rebranded not long ago into this dark green and the orange and black and white. And so as you can see, some of my my book now has the theme. I'm also going to look for this one. So colors is important. So it is win the money game with your child, of course, because it was about money. You can see that you know, money symbols are there, and the green, of course, represent that. Again, in terms of branding, also think about here where this image is concerned. Of course, it's an online business. Everybody, I mean, if you are going to be doing an online business, where do we do it? Apart from our laptop, and either in our laptop, in our home or library or wherever. So, you know, making sure that your business is actually talking about the things that you are passionate about, and making sure that it makes sense in the eyes of the one listening, or in the eyes of the one who is seeing the colors. And also making sure that your colors is legible. So all these things are important as far as growing the business is concerned. So that's your positioning. I am going to talk the rest of the two, simply, which is now what the L and the Y, in a different video, and I hope to you come along into the next video, and then we will conclude the simply model. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Beatrice Yakubu. Follow me at Beatrice. I am Beatrice Yakubu online. Take care. Bye bye.